What's good, everybody? It's your brother New Breed coming through with another video. It's something off about how people are moving these days. A lot of you all can sense the shift. People are moving different. I don't know if it's because of the overload of information that's out there, the endless scrolling that takes place, or perhaps it's psychological warfare being conducted by the so-called powers that be. All I know is people are way more irritable. There's a lack of communication. People's decision making is hasty. It's not decisive. People are just simply irrational, impatient. And it has created an extremely toxic environment. And as the Most High's people, we got to figure out how to navigate through such a time. And it's not easy. See, we can't react to nonsense. We can only adjust to the environment. See, a lot of these people out here in the world, they're reactionaries. It seems like nobody takes the time, the 5 to 10 seconds to actually respond. Everybody's just blowing up, reacting. Nobody can disagree with each other without it being something severe. And the Bible tells us to be slow to speak, quick to hear. And it tells us this for a reason. Because a lot of people have these interactions where there's a lot of regret involved based on the fact that they wasn't listening to comprehend or gain understanding. Nowadays, conversation with people is more like they're looking for validation, emotional comfort, not really understanding. And it's an environment that we definitely got to adjust to. And this is the reason why a lot of the Most High's people just stay to themselves. We just stay solo dolo. We're protecting our peace. We understand the importance of that, especially in 2026. All of us are just simply getting older. And there's certain things that we shouldn't tolerate. See, brothers and sisters, the scriptures tell you that a person who has no control over their spirit is like a city with no walls. Now, could you imagine a city with no walls? Anybody can invade it. And a person who has no control over their spirit, any demon can inhabit it. And you got to understand, brothers and sisters, the importance of staying away from certain individuals, because a split decision can cost you your life, your livelihood, or it can be potentially fatal. Just in a split second. That's why you have to take that 5 to 10 seconds to breathe. Think. Don't move in haste. The Bible even tells you, he that moveth in haste sinneth. Nowadays, people don't sleep on decisions. People don't take the time to think about their next move. People don't pray before making decisions. And at some point, we've all been guilty of this. This is not about condemning anyone. But that's something that has to be dealt with and adjusted properly. The Bible says that a person who uttereth all their heart will be counted as a fool. So you got to have that level of discipline. And the only way to gain that is compliance with the Most High. You got to comply with Him. And everything else will fall in place. Nowadays, a lot of you brothers and sisters, y'all are pouring into everybody. Y'all are the rock in your family. You are the centerpiece. But nobody actually pours into you. They just add to your stress. They just add pressure. And we're already in a very much intense environment. For a lot of people, they're struggling with anxiety. It could be financial pressures and anxiety. People are battling with depression, stress. And a lot of people are behaving very much irrational because of this. Now, what do you have to do, brothers and sisters, to make sure you maintain your peace, to make sure that you can continue your growth and continue building your relationship with the Heavenly Father? What you must do is you have to be that person who sleeps on decisions. Don't move in haste. Pay attention to the impulses that the Most High gave you. If someone is making you feel uncomfortable, pay attention to that. Keep in mind, if someone is not respecting your time, your energy, they don't respect you. If they don't respect your time and your energy, they don't respect you. There's a lot of people out there who just want you to be their peons. Jump when they say jump. Move when they say move. Some of you all have been condemned simply because you needed some time and some space. Now, some people look at time and space as disrespect to them. Why? They're caught up in themselves. Some people look at boundaries that you set for yourself as an attack on them. And these very same people don't know all that y'all are going through. They don't know what you're struggling with. They don't know what you got going on. Neither do they care. They don't care. So you got to look out for you. You got to be in your comfort zone, especially when it comes to making decisions.
Dangerous. Seek ye the truth, and the truth will
brothers
make
and
you
sisters,
free, and nothing else will do it.
In this day and age,
has never lied to anybody. Why won't you listen to
there's
him?
a lot of selfish energy.
Don't spread a rumor. Spread the truth.
And everyone is trying to figure out what they can gain from the next individual.
You too will become dangerous.
Everyone is out there trying to gain leverage on the next person.
In socialism.
And you do not want to get caught up in that type of mayhem. No. You got to distance yourself at times. People gonna feel how they feel about it. But it's not your fault that people are moving the way they're moving.
You just have to be obligated. That's all it takes.
And a lot of you all can just see it. You can see it. If you can see it, let me know. Definitely down in the comment section. If you can see how people are maneuvering. It's like they have to extract energy from you. And unbeknownst to them, they're being used by the devil. To do what? Slow down the process and the progress of God's people. Throw you off your mission, throw you off your purpose. By doing what? A lot of the times they utilize pressure techniques. applying pressure on you to do things outside of what the Most High would have you do. You got to look out for that. This is why you have to pray before you do things. You have to pray before you let certain people in your environment. You have to adjust to 2026 because, ladies and gentlemen, these people are potentially fatal. They're extremely dangerous. And I don't want none of y'all caught up in that. Listen, let me know down in the comment section if you understand what I'm talking about and you seen this spirit on people where they're just literally leeches and they're out here to extrapolate as much energy from other people as they can. And the way they maneuver, it doesn't even make sense. It's irrational. And instead of conflict resolution and understanding, a lot of the times, people will turn to ghosting you. People will turn to arguments. People will slander you. Everything has to be traumatic. Have you noticed that, brothers and sisters? There's no conflict resolution. Everything has to be dramatic with people. If you notice that, man, like the video. Make sure you share this particular video. And listen, the solution is stay out the way. For some of you all, you may have to take the path of a loner for a set amount of time. For some of you all, you're just gonna have to set those healthy boundaries and lay the ground rules for people around you. And they're gonna either respect it or they're gonna get left. That's what it's gotta be. Anyway, brothers and sisters, y'all stay safe out there. More material coming. Shalom. Peace.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is still Wednesday, January 7th, 2026, back with another episode. Thank y'all for tuning in, I really appreciate it. And I normally don't make videos this close together, but I'm on the grind. Plus, an interesting topic popped up. So that's the real reason. Maybe that I'm on the ground. It was an interesting topic, right? And it's about what's really going on with Trump and America and what we're doing, the moves he's making. And even though you got the liberals, the Democrats complaining and crying and whining or whatever, I'm going to show y'all why the reason they're doing it is because they want America to lose. I don't believe that. I don't believe they want America to lose. They just want Trump to lose. But the problem is, if Trump fails, that means America fails. Because what Trump is doing right now, and I'm going to point it out to show you, he's playing chess on the world stage. The whole world is playing chess right now. Whether you know it or accept it or not, all the major players, Russia, China, Iran, everybody's playing chess right now. Or another word for it, war game. Everybody's positioning themselves right now, preparing for World War III. All the major players around the world are positioning themselves right now, jockeying for position. Positioning themselves to win what I believe is an upcoming world catastrophe, a war, a world war. If you have any note, if you have any understanding of world events, world news, signs and wonders, the Bible, whatever your God is,
I've been developing a new attack. The problem is, it takes me a while to gather the
you would know and understand that what's happening right now ain't just happening out of coincidence.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
What Trump is doing is not just some idiot, deranged lunatic dictator, as the Democrats would have you believe. They still playing politics. They still pandering to their base. Trump is trying to position America to win. He wants America to win. But the opposite of winning, losing. If we don't win, that means we lose. Lose what, big boy? I'm glad you asked, but I just told you. The world is preparing for war. Every move Trump is making right now, in spite of what the Democrats say, they're so emotional that they can't admit that he's making the right move. And it's the same move they would make. But they're pissed because they're not the ones in power making the move. They just want to be in power. They don't give a damn about what Trump's doing. The problem is they're not the ones doing it. He's making the right move, and I'm about to tell you why. The American players right now, United States, China, Russia, Japan. I'm not gonna say North Korea. He's just a little shit talker, but he ain't no major player. He's just a shit talker. He's just a little homeboy that riding along with him. But it's Russia, China, Iran, our major foes right now that we gotta worry about. North Korea just a little sidekick that tag along with the big boys. You know, you a little dad, you little sidekick that hang with the big boys. That's what North Korea is. They not really. China, Russia, and Iran. It's written in the Bible too, those countries. It speaks about them in the last days, Armageddon battle, Armageddon whatever, the red bear, whatever. It's in there. So, here you got the United States. And you got a leader that knows what's going on. So he knows for us to have a chance to win, we gotta have an upper hand. What's the upper hand?
They can't manage my mechanics.
Energy.
Omicron theta. Shout out
Control
to the Trekkies.
the
My
energy.
favorite was Data. Mass
If you
Effect
go to
player,
war, go to
program
battle,
slayer. No need for Genevieve. Knock
He's
them
the
down
one
with
out of
my
energy,
eyes,
gas,
brain
production, what
waves.
have you.
Game
Supplies, resources,
spectacular,
they gonna
not
lose.
for the news. They stand there confused. Google it.
So what Trump is doing right now is positioning America to be in charge of all the news. Not for money, not for him and his partner like the Democrats have you believe. No. So America will win the upcoming war. Hopefully, if they see America got too much power, they won't want to go to war. Okay. The Democrats say Trump just attacked Nigeria, whatever. He wanted to say no Christians. He wanted the oil. Trump just removed the bureau. He don't care about the Venezuelan people. He wants the oil. And now he's talking about Greenland, going up to Greenland. Where do you want Greenland from? I'm explaining that to you. That's part of the bubble too. The problem or the issue that whatever Trump is doing, it ain't got nothing to do with having beef and hating black folks in Nigeria. It ain't got nothing to do with trying to free the Venezuelans, even though that's a benefit for them. Everything America's done and have ever done, it had to benefit them in some kind of way. It ain't just under Trump's leadership. It don't matter who the president is. America has never done that, freed nobody, saved nobody, helped nobody, unless it's going to benefit America. Every move Trump is making right now is the same thing, America. Y'all just getting your emotions hating the man when really it's fake. It ain't got nothing to do with that. So what he just did in Venezuela, it was for America. It wasn't against Maduro so much, so as it was strategically in the upper hand. Remember these names: Russia, China, and Iran. The major players in the world. Right now, Trump is positioning America to have the upper hand on them. Every move he's making right now is about getting the upper hand on those three players. It ain't got nothing to do with Venezuela, as far as he just got a beef with Venezuela. Taking over Venezuela gives us the upper hand on China, Russia, and Japan. That's it, that's all. Every move he's making is placing us in position to be ahead of them, our competition. You know that little thing called America First? America must win. It's gonna be a battle, whether you want it to be one or not. It's gonna be a war, whether you want to be one or not. So if you live in America, your best bet, your best option is to hope that America wins. I can't explain that to you no easier. If you are an American, if a war breaks out amongst the world, which it will, we're heading in that direction. All the experts say so. It's just a matter of when that they're debating about. So every world leader around the world, telling the major players, they're all doing the same thing, trying to position themselves to win when everyone believes in an upcoming world war. That's what every country is doing. So if you're an American, you better hope that you got a leader that's doing the same thing, positioning your country to be in a position to win. You don't want a leader that's sitting back, watching all the other countries get in position while he's sitting on their ass, hugging a tree, singing love song with liberals, trying to placate a liberal, while the rest of the world getting ready to kick our ass. You don't want a leader sitting up here trying to appease whatever you call Jonathan Crockett now. When Russia and China is preparing to whoop our ass. So I'm glad he ain't worried about what the hell they talk about, because they goofy. Russia, China, and Iran are making strategic moves all over the world. What we look like sitting up here arguing with Jonathan Crockett and Nancy Pelosi. That was an old saying. You can't let your enemies know your next move. So as the Democrats scream and holler about, he ain't let us know, right now, the Democrats are his enemies. They're supposed to be working together for the betterment of America, but really they're working against him, so they're his enemies. You can't let your enemy know your next move. So not only is the Democrats his enemy and our enemy, along with Russia, China, and Iran. So he can't let them know what he's doing either. So when Trump says he's going after Venezuela because of drugs, that ain't true. That's not true. You got to have one. You can't let them know what you're really doing. Which they probably smart enough to figure it out by now. But those who know, it ain't, and most people have said it ain't about no drugs, because he just bought some other drug kingpin. Why he worried about Maduro if it's just drugs? It ain't about drugs. That's just your, like when a cop pull you over to they smell marijuana, that just give them a reason to do what they really want to do. You know, when the cop pull you over, you ain't smoking, I smell marijuana. Search the car. That's what they really want to do. They want to search some shit, but they gotta have probable cause. The drugs, that's what I think. The so-called drug kingpin status with Maduro, that gave him probable cause. But what he really wanted to do was take over that son of a bitch anyway, to position himself, because Russia, China, and Iran depend heavily on Venezuela. Especially China. America controlling the oil reserves in Venezuela pretty much cripples China. Y'all remember we're in a trade war with China right now. Y'all forgot about that, right? This man playing chess, y'all playing checkers. We are in a trade war with China. This man just made a damn near checkmate by hitting Venezuela. And he just hit 2 more oil tankers, seized. He after them folk all. No, he after winning. I want to win. You better want to win. Somebody gonna win. Somebody gonna lose. I'd rather for their ass to lose than us. I live here. So, by taking over Venezuelan oil, you know how he said America's gonna run Venezuela now? He just hurt China and Russia and Iran. He just put up foot up there by doing that. And they can't do a damn thing about it. They want to, but he done crippled them. Right now, if we go to war right now, they don't have enough oil reserve to last 45 days. I was just reading an article about China. Before he took over Venezuela, China had about a 90-day supply of oil reserve based on what they get from Venezuela. Now they got 45 days. They wouldn't stand a chance in a battle against America right now with no oil reserve. China depends heavily on oil imports, especially from where? Say it with me, ladies and gentlemen. Venezuela. Number two, Nigeria. He wasn't trying to help no Christians. Maybe he wasn't. People ended up helping them. That was the main reason. Say it with me again, ladies and gentlemen. It was about the oil again. About energy, natural resources. Nigeria is a major player when it comes to oil. We get a lot of oil from Nigeria. Guess who was moving in on that? Take a guess. China and Russia. Especially China all over Africa. So get what we need to be doing as we watch our enemy try to expand in the most natural resource laden country on the planet, Africa. We can't sit back and watch China invade Africa, watch Russia invade Africa, and we don't do shit because they control Africa, you control the world. So you would rather Russia do it or China? So am I saying Trump care about the Christians in China and Nigeria? No. He care about America though. And positioning us in Nigeria, positioning us in Venezuela, brilliant. We're not beefing with Nigeria. We're not beefing with Venezuela. The bigger picture is China, Russia, and Iran in World War III, positioning America to a place where we can win. Now, big boy, what about Greenland? They don't do another fish. What do they want Greenland for? Say it with me again, ladies and gentlemen. China, Russia, Iran, World War III. Chess, not checkers. Positioning America to win on the final battleground. Check this out.
President Donald Trump reasserted in the new year that the United States wants Greenland.
We need Greenland from a national security situation.
Trump said a newly appointed special envoy would lead the charge, drawing sharp criticism from Denmark and Greenland. Let's take a look at why Trump is interested in the vast Arctic territory. Greenland is strategically significant for the US military. The shortest route from Europe to North America runs through it. The US has said it wants to expand its existing military presence on the island. That includes placing radars to watch waters in the region used by Russian Navy vessels and nuclear submarines.
Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place.
Shipping data show most Chinese and Russian activity in the Arctic is in waters near Russia. But more broadly, the Arctic is becoming more militarized, with NATO states, China and Russia all expanding activity there. The island is also rich in minerals, oil and natural gas, though development has been slow and mining has seen very limited US investment. Legally, Greenland is a territory of Denmark, which is a NATO member. In 2009, it was granted broad self-governing autonomy. That includes the right to declare independence from Denmark through a referendum. Polls show most of Greenland's 57,000 inhabitants back independence, but many of them also fear a hasty move for independence could leave them worse off and expose the island to the US. The US military has a permanent presence in an airbase in northwest Greenland. In 1951, the US and Denmark made an agreement. It gave the US the right to move around freely and construct military bases on the island as long as Denmark and Greenland are notified. Trump offered to buy the island during his first presidential term, a move Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen called absurd. In late 2025, Trump named a special envoy to Greenland, Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry, who publicly backs the idea of the island becoming part of the US. Frederiksen has since said Denmark wants to continue being a good ally of the US, while also saying that Trump's threats should be taken seriously. In a joint statement pushing back on Trump, she and Greenland's Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen said Greenland belongs to Greenlanders, saying, quote, "You cannot annex another country, not even with an argument about international security."
Sorry about the lighting, reflection of the other camera. Basically, you can hear. I know you heard it, even if the video don't show right there. That pretty much sums it up. Russia and China, especially Russia, is already over that thing, right? We have a base on Greenland. That will give us access to watch Russia, the submarines, the waters around there. But I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's about what? Everything Trump is doing right now is about Russia, China, and our way. The major world players. Putting us ahead of them. That's it, that's all. Ain't got to do with Greenland, ain't got to do with we want the resources. We want to be ahead of Russia, China, and Iran. That's it, that's all. No other reason. Everything he's doing. So don't listen to these goddamn Democrats. When you got a president that's fighting to put us in the best position, if a world war pops off, we'll win. That's what I want. I don't know about you. Get it, got it good. Bye.
Cause it hurts so bad. I don't care. Had a dream. Had a dream. So bad. I don't care. Had a dream. Had a dream. But I can't.
Hey guys, it's KJ from The Scariest Movie Ever. And I recently found some things at America Fest that you probably haven't seen. It was only a few months ago that we lost Charlie Kirk, and I purposefully didn't really look that much into the story in the very beginning, and this is the way I usually do. I don't just jump right into any event or story that happens and feel like I need to hurry up and make a video about it. It's just not the way I do things. The way I like to approach is I like to give stories a little bit of time. I like to give it a little bit of space, walk away from it, let the dust settle, and then kind of see what I can find. And well, it's really what I did with this situation. And I did find some really interesting things at America Fest. So as many of you know, if you've followed me for a long period of time, the language of symbols means a lot to me. It's something that was introduced to me many years ago when I first started with all of this, and it's never ended. In fact, over the years, as I've been watching, more and more of the symbols become predominant. But still, so many people can't see, right? But, you know, this is the beast system we're in, where what appears to be the truth at first oftentimes isn't. You know, things are a little bit more complicated in this beast system. There's layers, there's nuance. And certainly I found plenty of symbols surrounding America Fest. When I see these things, I consider them Satan's fingerprints. To me, it's evidence that he has some kind of a hand in this game, or whatever it is I'm looking at the time, that I find his fingerprints, that, you know, somehow he's involved, which makes sense to me with this because my personal belief was that Charlie Kirk really was a good brother in Christ. He was a good man, good brother in Christ, and really cared about people. And I believe you could see that if you just watch clips from him and the way he handled hecklers and whatnot. That being said, now giving it some time and looking at it, it almost feels like with Erica Kirk, kind of a Delilah situation, you know what I mean? Samson and Delilah from the Bible. Samson loved Delilah, but she ultimately and completely betrayed him. And she was always trying to figure out the source of his strength, you know, and several times he lied to her and told her things that just weren't true. And she would run to his enemies, tell the enemies, and then the enemies would come and try to attack him, and he would always break free. So this happened multiple times to the point where Delilah once again was asking, what's the true source of your strength? If you loved me, you'd tell me. And eventually he told her that it was his uncut hair. So what happens? He falls asleep one night with his head in her lap. She cuts off his hair, tells the enemies, they go grab him, and you know the rest. So for me personally, I look at the Erica Kirk and Charlie Kirk situation as kind of a type and shadow of Samson and Delilah. That's just my personal take on it. I do feel like in a lot of ways he was kind of the lamb led to the slaughter. So when I find these symbols, since I found these symbols throughout America Fest, it doesn't mean that it's completely evil and everyone's horrible in it. No, I mean, this whole thing started off as a really positive movement, a good movement, a conservative movement. There's plenty of people in there that are good people. There's plenty of people follow it that are good people and have a good heart and they care. But of course, that means that this is an environment that is ripe for Satan to stick his fingers in there and try to mix things up a bit. And certainly I feel like that's what happened. You know, if you have any kind of a movement in this beast system that is anti-beast system and pro-humanity, right, there's going to be problems. You know, Satan will make sure that he does his best to try to infiltrate that group and create chaos and create infighting and just darken the whole thing. Certainly we're seeing that also though with America Fest in some ways. We're seeing some division here. We're seeing some infighting. There's a lot of strange things just surrounding Erica Kirk in general. And like I said, I haven't done no deep dive on her or on him or anything like that. I'm specifically focused on the symbols in this one. So that being said, let's take a look. Most of you here have an understanding that it's the Masons that are the builders of this reality in so many ways. And we find them at the top of Hollywood and the top of both political parties. I mean, you name it, right? These are the builders, right? This is the secret society backbone, really. And there's others that extend out from that one, but at the base, it's the Masons. And I bring that up because even taking a look right here at the logo for America Fest, we find one of the most common symbols, another very common symbol here in the beast system, and it's the number 33. Just looking at this, can you spot the 33? It's probably not too hard now, but if you take a look right here at the stars on the flag, they made sure to have 33 stars on the flag. So once again, if you followed me for any amount of time, you understand we point out the 33s here constantly because they are everywhere. And it's a code, right? It's a code. The Masons were here, the builders were here. But there's actually even more though on this one I wanted to show you. There's something else, and it's right here. So you just look at the logo, you see the flag, you see the arrow right here, but look at the arrow. Here's another very, very common symbol of the beast system, and it's the 8-pointed star of Lucifer, also the star of Ishtar, some people call it. And many of these occult things that we find, they have multiple meanings, but when you really do the digging, you find it always goes back to Satan. Every single time it goes back to him. So here's another very common symbol we find in this system, the 8-pointed star. And it's interesting because this 8-pointed star is becoming even more and more predominant in our world right now in a whole other way. So check this out.
I don't know about you, but I'm actually really happy Elon Musk is finally talking about this, but there is so much more to this story. Put the Minnesota flag back, he says. But Americans need to pay attention to this. The flag features an 8-point star, a symbol prominent in Islam, and we're seeing it show up in flags all across the nation. The original Minnesota flag was replaced with a flag that resembles the flag of Somalia, a flat blue design with that 8-point star. Now, this is the same flag that Jackie Toberoff and I have been reporting on for almost 2 years now. Minnesota's original flag, there was nothing wrong with it, reflected the history of the land, a Native American on horseback, and a farmer. Now, this, of course, comes on the heels of Minnesota's massive fraud scandal, so now people are starting to pay attention to this flag, which is great. But Americans need to understand, again, this isn't just happening in Minnesota. Take a look at Reno, Nevada, before and after. Take notice, 8-point star. Look at Kent, Ohio, before and after. Now look at the city of Hutchinson in Kansas. They've actually scrubbed much of the internet of what the previous flag looked like, but it resembles their city seal. They said it was too basic. Now, Jacqueline Toberoff wrote an entire article in 2024 with all the links of the changes and then proposed flags as well. You can check it out. So what are the chances they all just happen to have this same 8-point star?
So here we are looking at America Fest, and we're watching the symbols of the beast, the symbols of the beast system. What is one of the most common symbols of the beast system? And most of you know this without having to think too much, but it's the all-seeing eye. We see the all-seeing eye all over the place here in this beast system, even on our money. But right here in America Fest, I found an interesting example as well. So if you're watching here closely, look in the background here, look at the very center of that animation on the stage, and then you'll see Erica's all-seeing eye. So for some reason, they decided to make sure they had an all-seeing eye right here in the center of this animation right here in the background. You can see it there, right? It's interesting. How does that happen? There's a lot of people that plan these things out, okay? So how does that happen? We make sure there's an all-seeing eye there. Well, I know how it happens. It's a message in the spirit, and that, the enemy is within that organization. Whenever I see these things. Now, again, if you're a member of it and you're a real person, a good person, and you're really trying to do right and you believe, I'd say stay with it, man. I mean, that kind of an organization, just like any church, needs a really good, solid flock. Iron sharpens iron in that way, if you will. So I hope that you'll continue, but just be discerning, because certainly the enemy is mixing in with this group, and I'm not surprised. Now, here's another example I wanted to show you of something that we've seen before. I've seen on interviews. I've seen in concerts, but oftentimes on the stage, and you'll see it right here, they'll have a massive pentagram of the upside down star. Why do they put the upside down star on the stage, right? When I see stuff like this is sorcery, it's witchcraft, it's ritualistic. Once again, though, I don't believe that every single person on stage understands all this or knows what's going on, so it goes back to using our logic, reason, common sense, critical thinking, and Holy Spirit, and spiritual discernment to discern each individual. But here you see the obvious pentagram on the stage. Okay, this is sorcery. And now here's another one that I wanted to share. I thought was very interesting. I have two different examples of this. But look closely once again at the center stage, the animation right there in the center, and you'll see another pentagram come up, right? Just like the Pentagon, the way it's shaped, you can see, or a baseball base, okay, which was built by the Masons, created by the Masons. But you can see the pentagram there, and then there's something weird going on within it. See what I mean? It's like, is there a character? Is that an animated devil showing up just saying hi? I don't know, but that is kind of strange. We have the pentagram here and some kind of strange imagery going on within, right? As you can see, another very common symbol of the beast system too. And as I mentioned, there's one more like this. Again, you take a look at the center screen, center stage, look in the background there, and you'll see another pentagram coming up, right? But this one has a swirl inside, has a spiral, very interesting. The spiral goes back to a few different things, right? Portals, for one, and for the other, it has to do, it's a symbol that has to do with people that do bad things to children, we'll just say. That's one of those symbols also. So don't know the actual intention right here, but I do know there's obviously the spiral, the pentagram, and something strange going on right here in the center. Well, my friends, that's what I wanted to show and share with you today concerning America Fest. Once again, any movement in this beast system, Satan and his minions are going to try their best to infiltrate it, corrupt it, and destroy it. And I see this as a good example of that, what's going on here with America Fest. That's scattered within there are good people with the right intentions. There's a lot of people following this with good hearts and good intentions. At the same time, there's some enemies within, you know. So as I mentioned earlier, we use our logic, reason, common sense, critical thinking, and our spiritual discernment with all speakers, with all leaders, with all people. Always keep that in mind, especially here with America Fest, right? Because overall, what they originally stood for, you know, it's all good stuff, right? And it seems to mostly be good. But as I mentioned, the enemies within, we're starting to see a little bit of infighting here and there and some backbiting and things like this. And I just showed you the symbols. So once again, the enemies within. So we pray for the organization, pray for the people, and we pray that they do good things and help people, right? Bring truth to light. And that's the hope and prayer, right? So all that being said, guys, hey, thank you once again for checking out my video. As always, I truly hope you're doing well out there, taking care of yourself, and just thanks so much. I've got more on the way, so until the next video, please do take good care of yourself, all right? And I'll see you in the next one.
If you live anywhere in this part of the United States, you are at risk of severe weather. A major storm is forming right now, setting the stage for a rare January severe weather setup from the southern plains into the Ohio Valley and southeast. This severe weather threat will begin today and continue into Saturday, with the most concerning day being Friday. The primary risk of severe weather on all 4 days will be damaging winds and large hail, but a few tornadoes are likely. As early as Thursday morning, an isolated tornado risk will exist in Oklahoma and Arkansas, but Friday is very different. If all of the ingredients can come together, a few tornadoes are likely on Friday in the lower Mississippi Valley. A tornado outbreak cannot be ruled out. On Saturday, the threat
can't f***ing look at myself without being disgusted. Like, what the f*** is that, bro? Ew, like, you're so gross. What the fuck's wrong with you? Ah, what's wrong with you?
See, at this point, you just gotta log off, man, because we live in a vapid day and age where people are so socially addicted to social media that it's gotten to the point to where the constant compare and contrast of other individuals online is leading young women like this to being completely disgusted with themselves. Like, this is not healthy. It's not normal. And I don't know if this is just rage bait or clip farming, but she looks to be a little teary-eyed and I don't know, man. I don't know. She genuinely looks sad. And I gotta say, this is a form of mental illness induced by obsessive social media use. Bro, people gotta log off, man. Top comment says kind of effed up for everyone to just be pointing and laughing at mentally ill young Gen Z kids, to be honest. Locked inside their homes or their rooms for an entire year alone during COVID and mind effed by their teachers and R-tard Gen X parents. Not sure how anyone can help either, but damn. And this was the logical conclusion of this plandemic, the large experiment of isolating people, especially developing kids, for years on end, stripping them from social interaction, injecting them with compounds that, one, was not studied for long enough, and two, if you did not get, like myself, you would have been ostracized by certain social circles. I gotta say, what a time to be alive. That era of humanity really highlighted how most people will literally turn on you in some cult-like brainwashing type NPC attack on people who want to have free autonomy over their bodies and think for themselves critically. I no longer trust people like I once did pre-COVID.
The last time you guys are seeing me.
Baby, we're not the same. You cut yourself because you're sad. I cut myself because I'm bored.
What the f? She says, you cut yourself because you're sad. I cut myself because I'm bored. Clearly mentally ill. Gen Z young girl. Not sure if she's in college or not. Still in high school. But this is crazy, man.
Letting my anger out on inanimate objects so I don't kill myself.
Bruh. And the sad thing about this is not only is she mentally ill and probably does this stuff in real life, but she's also doing this for internet clout and attention. Like, she seeks her validations from the internet. The love, the validation that she doesn't get from her IRL family and friends, she's seeking through the internet, through potential rage bait and clip farm. I really don't know why any of this needs to be recorded. What the ultimate purpose is outside of trying to go viral.
Here are my New Year's resolutions. Find a new drug to use. I'm tired of marijuana. Cut myself more.
Yikes. And it's sad to say that this young lady right here is the perfect example of what a lot of other young women are going through right now, like mentally ill, social media obsessed, looking for validation, physically harming themselves, drug addicted. I mean, good God, how is a population full of people like this, or adjacent to this at least, supposed to carry on the country? Like, we're good. And then on the flip side, you have other Gen Zers literally using hammers to potentially smash their face in for higher cheekbones. Davidson on Twitter says, Zoomer looks maxers are literally bone smashing. And where do they learn this stuff from? Online social media communities obsessed with looks. They're smashing their cheekbones with a hammer to create micro-fractured induced growth so they can look like an extreme cold-adapted ancient northern East Asian, and you're blackpilling. And by the way, that was a description of a man who looks like this. Yes, like I think Mongolian or, mountain people of like East Asia, Tibetan type people, adapted to cold environments. This was posted in the comment section.
2 areas right here. I'm just going to start hammering at this. I'm just going to be doing a shorter version. Normally I do it 5 minutes on each side, so 10 minutes in total. I'm just going to do it short now. Yeah, you gotta brace your head.
Ladies and gentlemen, like the previous girl before that I showed in the first part of this video. In the second half of this video, this guy is mentally ill. I gotta say, this is also mental illness. I mean, just look into his eyes, man. There's nothing there aside from trying to fit some kind of arbitrary social, physical standard of which he feels as though that he needs to fit. Like when I was a kid, when I was this age, he's probably 16, 17, 18 at max. Maybe he's in college. I don't know, but nobody was thinking about this before 2020, bro. Like this, where did this come from? Was there anybody online literally taking hammers to smash their faces in to potentially get higher cheekbones? And if so, what are the results of that? Clearly it's going to be asymmetrical because you're not applying the same constant amount of pressure, smashing your face in to get micro fractures to get this bone growth. It literally makes no sense. But alas, social media, mental illness, hyper extreme communities, focusing on physical looks and materialism and all this bullshit has led us to this point in society.
That side.
Yeah, Gen Z is cooked, man. Like, where do we go from here? Like, genuinely, where do we go from here, man? Davidson said, we should raise the voting age to 25. At this point, genuinely speaking, I don't want the majority of Gen Z voting. I'm sorry. After the prefrontal cortex finishes developing, brother in Christ, can we stop parroting this flawed scientific study where people only went up to the age of 25? There's no science backing the full completion of the prefrontal cortex by 25. In fact, the science says it can even extend well into your early 30s, but I understand the sentiment. People like the girl that I showed and this guy right here should not be voting in our elections at all. Also, thank you, Goth Miss Frizzle. She highlights your brain never stopped developing and your prefrontal cortex being done at 25 is a myth. I'm glad more people are starting to speak up about this because it kind of like, for the longest time, has been used to kind of like strip people below the age of 25 of like accountability and like knowing right from wrong as if they're just incompetent. And if so, if that's the case, they shouldn't be able to vote or do anything else important in this life until 25, so pick your poison. Also, I found this quoted tweet. I think this is a quote from the Rat Utopia experiment where basically, oh boy, here's the lore. Some rats basically were put in a controlled environment by this scientist by the name of John B. Calhoun, and they were given everything they needed: food, water, temperature controlled environments, unlimited breeding rights, etc. And eventually, from this lack of needing to survive by going out and hunting and doing everything else that natural creatures would do on their own, and having everything literally handed to you, it basically destroyed the rats. Basically destroy their psyches, and putting creatures like that are meant to be wild and have purpose outside of a controlled environment, aka artificial unnatural societies. It basically, to sum it up according to Google, led to catastrophic social collapse, termed as behavioral sink, characterized by extreme violence, withdrawal, and maternal neglect, ultimately resulting in population extinct, demonstrating how overcrowding and intense social stress, not resource scarcity, destroys complex societies. And that is the perfect reflection of the society we live in now. An overabundance of everything with no purpose, regulation, and everything basically handed to you ultimately leads to a plethora of mental illnesses. Also, in this experiment, there were a group of rats in the population of rats in this controlled experiment called the Beautiful Ones. And they were a group of male mice in John B. Calhoun's Universe 25 experiment who withdrew from all social interaction, focusing only on eating, sleeping, and grooming in overcrowded conditions. Now, who does that remind you of? Looks Maxers. Leading to societal collapse even as the population peaked and eventually died out. Demonstrating severe behavioral breakdown from density, Calhoun's utopia designed with ample food, water, and nests became a behavioral sink where the Beautiful Ones represented a failure of social roles, ultimately ending reproduction and causing the colony's extinction, a concept he linked to human overpopulation. Now, I'm not entirely sure about the human overpopulation part, but I will say though, we are going through this part of the rat utopia experiment in the human population where people only care about eating, sleeping, and grooming themselves. Nothing else. The endless chase and desire of comfort, leisure, luxury, and looks. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're here. And especially with big cities and the overcrowdedness of everything and social media being everywhere, ads being everywhere, inflation and lack of, it's just, yeah. I know I went on a bit of a tangent in this video, but hey man, I think we might be cooked. Additionally, I'm hearing reports that the rat utopia experiment is a myth. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about the validity of those claims. Some people are saying it's a myth or it could not be replicated. Not entirely sure, but the concept still remains. Thoughts and opinions down below. What do you think about this? And yeah, catch you guys in the next one.
So we got a dead streamer who booked himself a first-class ticket to his grave at the age of 37 for doing donkey activities on a live stream for money. There's a few things in this life I do not understand why people do for money, like selling ass hair, like actual hair. Also, believe it or not, people actually cut their hair and sell it, and people buy it. Being a professional cuddler is one of them as well, and another is doing extremely life-threatening stuff for the sake of few bucks. Sergio Jimenez, may God rest his soul, his mother and brother found him in his bedroom with illegal sugar all over his nose and an empty bottle of whiskey next to him. He was in a prayer position where he went to God. Was he actually praying and God took him in his prayer? Well, yes and no. It's not like one of those prayers. It is actually one of those, hey, donate more. God, please don't make them donate more so I can snort more illegal sugar up my nose and drink more alcohol. I mean, he's 37, he's living with his parents, no judgment, everyone has to reset. Most of the people have to restart their lives at all ages, at least 2-3 times in their lifetime. And, you know, Sergio was living with his parents at the age of 37, and he was doing this shit to make money. I mean, look, I don't want to talk shit about the dead, but, like, this is not something like a TikTok challenge where you do it for money. Guys, tap on the screen. Or, you know, you go into a TikTok battle and the loser has to smash an egg on their own head. No, that shit is just embarrassing. It's not life-threatening. Unless that egg kills you somehow. I don't know. Anyways, he died live on the camera as well. I don't know why they're saying allegedly. He literally took 6 grams of illegal sugar up his nose and drank a whole bottle of whiskey in a matter of 3 hours during a New Year private stream that was happening. And he is believed to have overdosed after agreeing to drink the entire bottle of whiskey and snort 6 grams of illegal sugar within 3 hours as part of a paid live stream challenge. The streamer was found dead by his younger brother at the family home he shared with their mother. He was discovered kneeling beside his bed in a relative described as a prayer-like position while his webcam continued streaming to viewers. According to the police of Spain, the investigators have not ruled out expanding the case to determine whether any viewers or organizers could face criminal responsibility for their alleged incitement to risky behavior. I mean, yes, a crime was committed. Crime of being a donkey. And shocker alert, people who pay to see other people suffer and get off of it, they're not good people. They're probably like, hey, we got no blood in our hands. We didn't put a gun to his head, did we? I had to break it to these donkeys, but they do have blood in their hands, and they might not be investigated in this life, but the afterlife. The streamer's family was also warned about this in advance for his dangerous type of content that he's been doing as well, but they didn't take it as seriously. According to family members, voices could still be heard coming from Sergio's computer as they tried to help him. Some viewers, reportedly part of a private group who have paid to watch the stream, were heard asking whether he was sleeping off a hangover and urging him to finish the whiskey. Now, there's an actual video of him snorting the illegal sugar. I'm not going to show you that. Maybe I'll show you a screenshot of it. It's just like a long, just like a long video like that. But you know, obviously this is not Twitch or Kick because you'll be banned instantly. Or actually, maybe on Twitch you won't be. Maybe you'll receive like a 24-hour ban, then you can do it again. They won't ban you again. That's how you can do it with Twitch, right? Voices could be heard. Obviously, this was a very private stream. Probably some dark web type of shit, I would assume. Apparently, Teresa, Sergio's mother, the streamer's mother, told the outlet that the family had been warned months earlier about his online activities. She said her eldest son, Jordi, had raised concerns that Sergio was spiraling and producing increasingly dangerous and extreme content. Now, the mother said she got up to go to the bathroom just before 2 a.m. and saw the door to his room that was, ajar. I asked him what he was doing, but he didn't answer. I could see him kneeling on the bed as if he were praying. Well, on his way, waiting in line, praying that he'll go upstairs, not downstairs. Now, Daniel, his brother, he rushed to the room after the alarm was raised and confirmed that he has died before the emergency services were called. They were too late. He overdosed and he passed away. Apparently, there was a bottle of whiskey, energy drink cans, and a lot of legal sugar on a red plate near the computer, which was playing audio from viewers. And a spokesperson from the regional police force said that this is an active investigation. They are going to investigate and see who those private viewers are. What was the cause of death? I mean, the cause of death is pretty obvious, but I would say investigate those donkeys who are paid for these things. And I don't know if they can press any charges, but create charges out of your ass and just charge them. Honestly, you'll be doing everyone a favor, and they won't have the chance to take advantage of the next person. Obviously, the streamer needs to be held responsible for his actions as well, but he's being held responsible at the ultimate responsibility right now in the afterlife. He has to answer a lot of questions when his time in the line finishes, right? But yeah, it's still very sad. 37 is very young. He just gave his life up for a couple of bucks. No matter how much money you were getting paid, you're risking your life. What are you gonna do with the money now? You know what I mean? You're dead now. Anyways, just wanted to share this with you. More videos over here. Like, subscription is much appreciated. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Yeah.
How's it going, everybody? Normally, when we open up Nova videos, I can start it off saying, well, guys, Nova Online didn't have a very good week, or, the month wasn't very good, a holiday disaster or something like that. But no, not this time. A certain primate from Madagascar absolutely ruined that, and Nova Online had the best Christmas of all time. And you could be asking how. Nova Online is very known for getting himself into predicaments, always been in a very melodramatic mood. Nova Online just isn't the person to have a good holiday. But something happened out of nowhere. Nova potentially has a brand new partner for his Kiwi Core podcast, and that would be the Leaping Lemur. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you're absolutely stumped right now, you can check back on one of my most recent videos. I'll probably have it at the very end, and most likely it'll be suggested to you. If you haven't seen that, it'll absolutely blow your mind. But to give you the long and short of everything, the Leaping Lemur did some heinous actions, and now Nova Online is having an absolute field day over it. And to be honest with you guys, I think Lemur and Nova should take advantage of this situation. We've never had a lolcow podcast where it was two enemies who come together to fight a cause, and that cause is, I don't know what it is at the moment, but it would be absolutely amazing. Maybe Nova and Lemur should be playing Just Dance on live stream. That way Julian isn't the only Lemur who likes to move it. And both of them can hit their goals by February, because yeah, Nova still hasn't hit his goal. He says he's on track, but you guys know, whenever that scale comes up, Nova's probably going to fail, but he has a huge out now. He can say, well, at least I weigh less than the Leaping Lemur. Then we all got to say, well, Nova, that means absolutely nothing. This is about you. Because that's the craziest part about this entire thing, is that Nova is relishing in the idea that the Leaping Lemur has finally fallen, that this guy will no longer be making videos on him, and that he just might have been as bad as Nova, or possibly worse. But that doesn't take away one major thing, and that's that Nova, you have still done all of the things in the past. Like, that doesn't get taken away from you now that one of your biggest detractors has been proven a dummy boy. Like, that's not the case. You're still a Discord degenerate. You've still done all of those things in the past. You can't take that away. But hey, if the Kiwi Core episode doesn't work out, that way two of you can be put in the fries in the bag, Nova. I mean, this is a win-win situation for both of you. So instead of wasting your time going on the Lemur's channel and posting comments like you aren't a lolcow yourself, because yes, guys, that is one of the ways Nova has been filling up his time here recently. No job applications, just absolutely dunking on Lemur. In Lemur's first apology video, you can literally see Nova Online, and I can't lie to you guys, I was laughing so hard when I read this, because Nova, of all people, being able to tell you that you have a lot of gall coming back here after what you did, mister, and him being kind of right. Like, how could Lemur let Nova be right at Christmas time, of all things? Like, Nova was like projected to have a terrible one. You knew he was lining it up. He wasn't even celebrating. He didn't put up the stockings, probably because he couldn't find them in that mess. But when Lemur's subs finally started dropping, when everything was revealed, and at this point I think it's over 20 some thousand. Yeah, I think it's over 20 some thousand subs dropped. Nova says it's music to his ears, and it's like, Nova, it's a sight to behold. Like, you can't hear the subs dropping physically, but it's whatever. I'm not gonna say too much about that. I just thought I'd point that out there. And after calling himself a pathological liar, it just proves he lied a lot about me. No, Lemur can be a pathological liar because that seems to be what the guy was on basically his entire career, just pathologically lying his way through it. But there was tons of evidence against you. And we know what you do when you feel like you have a one-up on a troll or something like that. You immediately get in their comments and you start calling them out. Look what you did when the fake evidence happened, and look what you did now when Lemur's career went into the toilet. You're like, okay, I'm gonna get in your comments and I'm gonna roast you. Like, you would have to be the worst iteration timeline Trunks ever. You would have to go to the past and physically change it yourself for the things said about you you to be alive. And then Nova follows up another comment on Lemur's channel. And you know what? There's probably tons more. But here's just another one for you guys. TLLIAP. The leaping lemur is a puerta, tubes. It's like, can you feel the mirror staring back at you, Nova, when you type this out? You're using the classic white Bowser meme, and you're putting it on Lemur. Alright, that's mildly amusing. I get it. I mean, you're not the first person I saw who did it. You was copying someone else who despises you most likely, but that's whatever. It is what it is. You guys are both in the same boat now, which is exactly why I said you guys gotta start KiwiCore. It won't be fun for either of you, but man, that would be like good content for at least a month. But let me tell you guys something that's not the best in the world, and that's some of Nova's TikToks that he's been putting out here recently, because that's something I haven't looked into in a long time. You know, the Lemur stuff was just mildly amusing because Nova and Lemur, they can now finally have this back and forth. They're on the same level. It's no longer like Lemur dunking on Nova. They just need to get on a podcast together and talk things out. I think that's the only manageable solution, at least for us. But before all of that happens, we gotta view these amazing TikToks that Nova has been posting, and the food reviews and some of the things that have been going on, guys, that I just haven't been paying attention to. I'm really missing out. I gotta keep up with Nova's content because it's always just so ridiculous and full of bad ideas.
Hokkaido ramen 3 years later. Let's try it out. But before we do, we're gonna try this orange ramyun first. Oh. Better than any orange soda I've ever had. Alright, let's get to the actual food. First off, the strawberry green tea. Not too sweet, and I like the little chunks of strawberry that are in here. Next up, we got the fried gyoza. Slight crunch on the inside is very flavorful. And now this is their most expensive and most popular item, the spicy beef ramen. I added sliced chashu pork and tomatoes to it. Note that last time I tried Hokkaido ramen, it was a struggling business. And now, they are a chain all around America. Alright, enough squawking. Let's try the ramen. Screw it, we're gonna try it with a fork. I'm bad with chopsticks. Anyways, y'all, check out Novacore Paracord on eBay. Now let's try out this ramen. Well guys, so this is going to be my last shower video for the foreseeable future. Even though these videos didn't do so well, I got heavily criticized.
Breaking news. It is 12:54 p.m. January 7th, 2026. This just in. The Russian government has sent 3 jet aircraft to Israel and is urgently evacuating their embassy, its staff, and their families from Tel Aviv. With the sudden and massive repositioning of U.S. Special Operations Forces throughout Europe over the past 36 hours, and with the gigantic surge of U.S. Air Force C-17 cargo aircraft into Europe and the bases around the Middle East 24 hours ago, it is now clear that either the U.S., Israel, or both are going to attack Iran. If that commences, Iran is expected to launch 1,000 missile salvos against Israel of physical destruction, physically destroy the whole country. Folks, I can't be more serious. We are getting ready to go home. Folks, everything's lining up. And if Russia is getting them out today, they might have a day, 2, 3 days maybe. We don't know. We don't know when the attack's going to come. Now, I can't tell you exactly when the rapture's going to be. But folks, this is extremely prophetic. We could be seeing Jesus. Breaking news, breaking news. It is 12:54 p.m., January 7th, 2026. This just in. The Russian government has sent 3 jet aircraft to Israel and is urgently evacuating their embassy, its staff, and their families from Tel Aviv. With the sudden and massive repositioning of U.S. Special Operations Forces throughout Europe over the past 36 hours, and with the gigantic surge of U.S. Air Force C-17 cargo aircraft into Europe and the bases around the Middle East 24 hours ago, it is now clear that either the U.S., Israel, or both are going to attack Iran. If that commences, Iran is expected to launch 1,000 missile salvos against Israel of physical destruction, physically destroying the whole country. Folks, I can't be more serious. We are getting ready to go home. Folks, everything's lining up. And if Russia is getting them out today, they might have a day, 2, 3 days maybe. We don't know. We don't know when the attack's going to come. Now, I can't tell you exactly when the rapture's going to be. But folks, this is extremely prophetic. We could be seeing Jesus soon. Breaking news, breaking news. It is 12:54 p.m., January 7th, 2026. This just in. The Russian government has sent 3 jet aircraft to Israel and is urgently evacuating their embassy, its staff, and their families from Tel Aviv. With the sudden and massive repositioning of U.S. Special Operations Forces throughout Europe over the past 36 hours, and with the gigantic surge of U.S. Air Force C-17 cargo aircraft into Europe and the bases around the Middle East 24 hours ago, it is now clear that either the U.S., Israel, or both are going to attack Iran. If that commences, Iran is expected to launch 1,000 missile salvos against Israel with the intent of physical destruction, physically destroying the whole country. Folks, I can't be more serious. We are getting ready to go home. Folks, everything's lining up. And if Russia is getting them out today, they might have a day, 2, 3 days maybe. We don't know. We don't know when the attack's going to come. Now, I can't tell you exactly when the rapture's going to be. Folks, this is extremely prophetic. We could be seeing Jesus soon. Breaking news, breaking news. It is 12:54 p.m., January 7th, 2026. This just in. The Russian government has sent 3 jet aircraft to Israel and is urgently evacuating their embassy, its staff, and their families from Tel Aviv. With the sudden and massive repositioning of U.S. Special Operations Forces throughout Europe over the past 36 hours, and with the gigantic surge of U.S. Air Force C-17 cargo aircraft into Europe and bases around the Middle East 24 hours ago, it is now clear that either the U.S., Israel, or both are going to attack Iran. If that commences, Iran is expected to launch 1,000 missile salvos against Israel with the intent of physical destruction, physically destroying the whole country. Folks, I can't be more serious. We are getting ready to go home. Folks, everything's lining up. And if Russia is getting them out today, they might have a day, 2, 3 days maybe. We don't know. We don't know when the attack's going to come. Now, I can't tell you exactly when the rapture's going to be. But folks, this is extremely prophetic. We could be seeing Jesus soon. Breaking news, breaking news. It is 12:54 p.m., January 7th, 2026. This just in. The Russian government has sent 3 jet aircraft to Israel and is urgently evacuating their embassy, its staff, and their families from Tel Aviv. With the sudden and massive repositioning of U.S. Special Operations Forces throughout Europe over the past 36 hours, and with the gigantic surge of U.S. Air Force C-17 cargo aircraft into Europe and the bases around the Middle East.
Hello again, everyone. Hope you are well on this Tuesday afternoon. It is January the 6th. Prepare for the unthinkable. Pray it doesn't happen. I pray it doesn't happen. Things are not trending well. We are not immune to, let's say, stuff reaching us here stateside on our own homeland. I'm going to highlight several comments that have been made in the last last two videos. Several from yesterday's video by commenters that I'm afraid I agree with. All of these are frequent commenters that have their pulse on what's going on. And they have good preparedness tips as well. So stay tuned. I have a terrific passage or two I'm going to share with you towards the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. I have some other little interesting news items. But basically, you know, like Scott said yesterday or the day before, I think it was yesterday's video, said things are about to get serious very, very soon. Prepare for the unthinkable. You know, the way I think about it, you know, if you look around, there's an arms race going on. If you look at this world and the nations, not just the superpowers, but the powers that are just right underneath the superpowers, right? You know, your European countries, your India, your Pakistan, your Iran, North Korea, Turkey. It seems like the world is quickly preparing for WW3, and I believe, like one other commenter said, that we are in the infancy stages of World War III. There is an arms race in this world. It's huge. There's an arms race going on. There's a technological race, AI race, a race for resources, hoarding resources. China has stopped exporting silver. Battle lines have been forming for a while now. Militaries are mobilizing in multiple areas of the world. The U.S. appears to be ready to attack Iran again, along with Israel. Over 50 military aircraft landed in Israel just recently. China calls for the immediate release of Maduro. China is also considering an occupation of Taiwan. Europe is quietly fortifying Poland for a confrontation with Russia. Before I go any further, I'm going to go into a couple of preparedness tips. I'm going to go into a couple of little stories here. A disturbing one in particular. Savannah, Georgia. It's a beautiful city. Absolutely beautiful city. This dog and I visited and stayed there almost 10 years ago. Had a great time. Savannah, Georgia, not far from there, at a parking lot in a Target store parking lot. A young man, father of 3 kids, married, lost his life due to an argument over a parking space, y'all. On a Target parking lot. This is just simple. The perpetrator, don't know the details of the argument, I got started and all that, but the perpetrator attacked this young man. I guess it started out a verbal confrontation. But it ended up with this young man losing his life. 3 kids. Right there. Just like that. I think he was in his late 20s, early 30s. I can't remember exactly. Y'all, the world is going very dark evil. And we need, this is another reminder. Over a parking space, when we're out, it's not worth it.
Avoid the conflicts, y'all. I'm not saying be a doormat and let people run over you, okay? I'm not saying that. But do the best we can. Let's avoid confrontations if at all possible, because they start out small. Even when you're driving, we see this all the time in dog. When you're driving out here, avoid the stare downs, the middle finger, all that stuff, blowing your horn. I don't even blow my horn anymore. I don't even want to tap my horn. I just avoid it. I just look straight and just get away from that idiot person. All right, avoid the crazy. Get away from the crazy. Silver hovering above $80 an ounce today. Looked like it went up almost 81 or over 81 at one point. The last I looked here a few minutes ago, a little $80 and change for an ounce. Now, like I always say, prioritize your food, your water filtration, medical, security, your provisions. That's first, in my book. And then, hey, you got the means, go for the precious metals. It's a huge hedge against inflation and the downward spiral of our dollar. Let's see, what else? I'm gonna go to the comments because, man, there were some good comments. There were several in yesterday's video, and another one from Scott. I'm gonna start off with Scott from 2 videos ago. Yeah, he said, and I'll paraphrase some of it. Some of it's what Scott said. I'm not trying to instill fear, but WW3 is coming quickly. If it turns nuclear, there is absolutely nothing we can do to stop that. Let's keep prepared. Water purification first. I agree. That would be paramount. Now, if it goes nuclear, depending on where you're located, if you're not in an area where it's, a total loss, if you know what I mean, then yeah, your shelter. If you have a fortified shelter or something really, as much between you and the outside. But anyway, water purification first, stack food, have a way to heat food without power. I think this is an important point. Like a Coleman stove. Absolutely. Keep in prayer. Let's support one another. Things are about to get very, very serious, very, very soon. That's what he said. I totally agree with him. It is scary to think about it, but this is reality, I believe. Now, the majority of people out here would absolutely look at you as if you are a space invader if you say something like this, but it is truth. Some other comments. Let's see, yesterday, I forget who said it, but anyway, something is very, very wrong. I can feel it. And it started Friday night, this past Friday night. And even after a Venezuela thing, I still feel it. I think we are going to see something stateside. It will be bad. Can't disagree with that. I think a lot of us have been feeling this heaviness that it just feels like it's imminent, right? And it's stateside. Whether it's blowback from the Venezuela thing or just something that's been in the works that they've been planning for years, Or it could be part of WW3. We're not immune to it here like we were in past wars, right? Another comment under that comment said, I believe we're in the infancy stages of World War III. I agree. Another comment, the world is on fire for sure. Every day is an adventure. The earth is groaning for its
Let's
creator.
pick out the cell and call the phone a Ruach. I can't save you. I thought I already told you with Roy to step in that granny house any kind of way, and best believe granny will kick you out. A lane to the rest, but the words didn't face me. It was truly empty, fam. I had better days. Leandria, she know the half. I can't get my way, see. The people need Yahoo's just like signal, and they make it. The form of creations was perverted by the fallen. In the book of Enoch, read it. Don't believe your pastor if he teach against it. They teach these matters and say salvation is not the reason. They want the meat but reject the seasons preserved in teaching. That's why I'm going blank so you can hear the words. I'm still Yakuwan though, hidden in the verse.
What if there's not a peace deal?
Yeah, don't call on me.
Which it doesn't look possible. That
call on me.
It looks like
call Yahoo.
I see.
Don't call on me.
I don't see where that
call
is.
Call Yahoo as salvation. Don't call on me.
It's not trending that way for sure.
I can't save you.
Right.
But
to
I
me,
can
it looks
help
like
you to the
Vladimir
source, dude.
Putin has just doubled down lately and is just preparing to give Europe what it looks like it wants. War. It really does. Another comment said, pray, prepare, protect. Another comment said, not exactly related, but I was talking about how many Americans are working 2 jobs to keep up with the cost of living. And several commenters kind of chimed in on that and agreed, said, I have a college degree, and I've been working for many, many years, 2 jobs. A couple of law enforcement people said the same thing. We have to work 2 jobs to keep up with the cost of living. That's law enforcement. Not totally related, but I saw this is an interesting comment from somebody in yesterday's video. A Wegman, now we don't have a Wegman grocery store here, but in a Wegman store in New York City posted a sign at the entrance stating that all who enter the store, there will be biometric data collected using facial recognition technology from your face, your eyes, your voice. Right. Oh. And then the commenter said that's likely been happening for a while, probably so. And it makes you wonder, is it happening, has it been happening no matter where you go, you know? I went through a Kroger earlier in the day, there was a Kroger, there's several Krogers in some of my routes that I've taken. Went in, used the bathroom, got a drink, you know. And I just had 2 things, and I went through the self-checkout, and you look up, and there's that huge video screen is recording everything, and it does make you wonder, you know. I just looked right at it, kind of smirked, but makes you wonder what kind of technology is in there, right? Yeah, recording everything. But like I said, we are not immune. I think there is a real possibility that in our lifetimes, and very soon, we could see stateside attacks from various sources or origins. I saw where North Korea, that nutcase that runs North Korea, over the weekend, right after the Venezuela attack by the United States, he launched several nuclear-capable missiles. One article said that they were hypersonic ballistic missiles. Just launching them, you know, they just went in the ocean, but they were like tests. And reported that he said, we are preparing for actual war. Now that's a nutcase that I would be concerned about, really trying to do some kind of idiotic thing like a first strike. Or worse, like an EMP or something. My gosh. Anyway, I'm full of good news, right? But no, these are warnings. These are just reminders that you know, this is reality, a possible reality that we face, right? Let's continue to prepare, invest. Food, water security, water purification, our gardens, our medical supplies, over-the-counter meds, our shelter. Let's keep bolstering our homes. Number one is spiritual preparedness. Absolutely, right? Pay down what debt we can. Absolutely. Let's keep on doing that. And if you've got it paid off, don't get into debt, right? Let's keep tip-top on our medical, our health, our physical health, our physical preparedness is paramount as well. Like I said, spiritual is number one. Because ultimately, that is it. I mean, we are citizens of Christ. Absolutely, right? Share your thoughts, share your comments. I mean, y'all, the best tip, the best preparedness tips are in the comments, not from me. You guys drive that. And there's a lot of knowledge and wisdom out there in the comments, y'all. And if you read enough through the comments, you'll get entertained by a couple of trolls or two. Shout out to the trolls. I get several video. Mrs. Dog usually scopes them out before I use them. And sometimes Amy with the man hammer, Amy will play whack-a-mole with them too. It's an adventure, man. It's an adventure. All right, I'm going into Isaiah because there's some encouragement. We need it. Isaiah. Let's see.
You hear that, boy?
Isaiah
That's what Christmas is all about.
Actually, Granddad, Christmas is a pagan holiday, and Jesus probably hates you for celebrating.
There ain't gonna be no Scrooges in this house, boy.
Look, Granddad, it's clear from the scripture that Jesus was not born in winter. The shepherds who saw the angels announcing his birth would not have been out in their fields in December. The Palestinians.
Yet those who wait for the Lord will gain new strength. They will mount up with wings like eagles. They will run and not get tired. They will walk and not become weary. Man, it's so good to say that. Isaiah 41, verse 10. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be afraid, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will also help you. I will also uphold you with my righteous prayer. Again, let's be alert. Let's be safe out there. Share your thoughts. Stay close to Jesus. I'll see you soon.